Yo, what's up, guys? We're here with Aden Clarke, and we're at the San Antonio Regionals, and he just got what place?
Sixth.
Sixth place with what deck?
I was playing Magician, Pendulum, Miss Valley, stick whatever good cards you could find in there. I literally built it like 10 minutes before the regional started. I just started putting things together.
Gotcha.
I bought some structure decks. They were cool.
Gotcha. All right, let's go ahead and get into it.
I didn't really do that amazing, but I did beat the guy who got first, so whatever.
Nice.
So the best card in the deck was, of course, the Skull Crobat Joker.
Could you turn him around?
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, that's all good.
Skull Crobat Joker is your Searcher, he's Stratos, he's everything you want in a card and more, and he gives you +1s, which is what this deck's all about. The second card, of course, is the card you got to plus and get. So you go search your Wisdom Eyes because he does everything. He's the problem I have with Pendulums is that you have to place 2 cards in your scales, and unless they replace themselves, so you're now playing with 3 cards. So you need cards like Wisdom Eyes that immediately replace themselves in order to rebuild advantage.
Gotcha.
Now, the card that you have to go get with him, I played 3 of Oath Dragon. He recovers from your extra deck or grave, so he's really helpful to keep advantage. And the MVP of the weekend for scales is actually this card. I popped so many back rows with him, and especially combined with Pendulum's Call, I was able to get through a couple different Wavering Eyes and several other things, many counter traps. This card's amazing because it turns every card in your hand into an MST, and when combined with this, I ran 3 of these for a reason that'll be seen later. You can recover the cards you discard with this and continue to build advantage. I played 1 of this just because I thought it would come up that I would need a Pendulum Call and grab 2 level 4s. It never really came up. I did end up using it to out 1 Floodgate monster because it's like a 7 of between Wavering Eyes and Pendulum Call when you need it, and a 1 of when you don't want it every other time. But it's helpful. Then what made this deck so much fun was 3 Luster Pendulum. This card's amazing. I think you should be running it in every Pendulum deck. Not only does it replace itself as a scale, it makes the best card in the game right now, Ignister. Of course, if you're running Luster Pendulum, you're going to want to run 3 Plush Fire.
Definitely.
Plush Fire is amazing because when combined with it, it generates lots of advantage. Also, everyone keeps saying you shouldn't be playing Luster and Plush Fire in this deck, but this deck actually makes a lot more rank 4s than anything else because when combined with Wisdom Eyes, you almost always get to a lot of level 4s every single turn. So I don't see why they do that. Also, if you end up drawing too many high scales, you can just use Luster Pendulum plus the Draco Pit, so it's not that bad.
Gotcha.
This was actually the card that made me originally decide to play these because I needed outs to Wavering Eyes. I hate that card.
Everyone does.
But in order to complement this suite, I actually only played 1 of this. I almost cut this right before the event. The only reason I wanted it was that I wanted to search a low scale, but I ended up siding it out in half my games, maybe more. It was almost never useful. The most useful thing it did all weekend was actually being Pendulum monster you could bring out off Plush Fire in order to use with Luster Pendulum.
Was the other effects relevant at all? Like to change attack and defense?
I don't think I ever used the effect to change the attack. I thought it would be really cool against Cosmo. And then I realized this deck has an amazing Cosmo match.
It could be really good if paired with Ragnar Zero.
True.
I also played 1 Trick Clown. This was the only other clown I played. This clown was amazing. Like, setting him helps you prevent getting OTK between this and Plush Fire. I didn't play Hat Tricker because it was always just dead when you drew it. I never wanted to search for 1 more summon because you could do so many things in a turn already. You never lose because you're missing 1 summon. You end up losing because you're drawing cards that aren't Pendulums. This is also why I cut the Gigabytes and everything else from Perform Mage and Pals.
Gotcha.
1 Mass Chameleon. This card makes 2 really important cards. Number 1, it makes the Ignister, and then it actually makes 2 other synchros that are really useful. And when combined with things like Instant Fusion, it actually gets you to you can make multiple fusion or synchros in 1 turn. Now is the idea behind the deck was I wanted lots of good turn 1 plays because you're always really ahead if you're going second with this deck, but when you're going first, you have very few turn 1 plays that are really strong because you don't want to get Wavering Eyes and lose, you don't want them to make an Ignister and you lose, so I just wanted to play the maximum number of cards that would stop that. That's why I was doing the damage jugglers, and then I also went triple Kieran, which I think is pretty common at this point. Kieran's amazing. This was one of the MVP cards of the weekend. Actually, Luster Pendulum's MVP of the weekend because he got MST'd in the Pendulum Zone almost every single game, so he could bait all the MSTs all the time.
Gotcha.
But and then I played a card that I thought would be amazing. I actually played the rest of the boss monsters, the 3 Miss Valley APX Evian.
That's crazy.
I didn't actually ever brick with these things. I actually bricked with multiples of this. I never bricked with multiples of this. This card was amazing against like Cosmos and other things, and it was meant to prevent Wavering Eyes. And then I'd ask my opponents to side Wavering Eyes out after game 1. But the goal was turn 1, this will protect me from Wavering Eyes, this will protect me from Ignister, and then combined with Pendulum Call, Damage Juggler, and your own Wavering Eyes, you've got about 12 outs to each of these cards that you can open up with, so you can see one every game so you don't just get blown out.
Gotcha.
Next 3, of course, 3 Pendulum Call. I think everyone should be playing that.
That's okay.
This card, Wavering Eyes, shouldn't exist. I actually sided it out against every matchup that wasn't Pendulum. They're actually his supers, but he traded them to me right before the event because I was annoying.
Oh, the commons.
Well, these are super.
No,
I had commons.
Yeah, you didn't want commons. I got you.
This card was amazing all weekend. I really liked it. I'd actually side one out a lot of times for space, but being able to bring back a card, especially either a Plush Fire or the Masked Chameleon, gives you a lot more plays.
Gotcha.
And then, of course, because I only found 39 cards I liked, the 1-Up-Star Goblet. Like I said, I literally made this 10 minutes before the event, so I was like, what cards are good?
I'll throw in an Upstar.
But
Warning's not good.
Warning emptiness.
I didn't want to open with any of those because I thought I'd play a lot of mirror matches. And so if you're setting only one back row, the Draco Pit that I was talking about earlier, every time my opponent set one, I got really excited because I'm like, now I know what I'm targeting, and I'm just going to go right through whatever they do because it's going to make that card irrelevant. So I didn't want to play just one counter trap or one trap in the deck. So I thought I'd play like 8 or 9 mirror matches, and then I ended up playing none. I played 4 pendulum decks, but no true mirror matches.
Gotcha.
I thought about it, but I'd rather draw more consistency, and 1-Up-Start isn't bad. Again, I really wanted to play 3, but like I said, I was literally writing my deck list, so I was running up to get in line, so I was like, well, I won't find what other 2 cards to cut.
Sometimes it's the struggle.
So,
yeah, extra deck.
the extra deck. 2 Ignister, because this is the best card in the game right now, and everyone should be running it. Wins almost all the games.
Even Cosmos run it.
Yeah. Everyone. There's no reason not to run this card if you
Tech 1 Luster.
And then 1 Omega. I actually never made this card. Like, I thought it would be really awesome in theory, and then it never came up.
Nope.
It's not a bad card, and I definitely keep it in, but
Definitely.
Damage Juggler back in the grave.
this was actually a change I made in line. My friend ran the exact same list I did, minus 1 card. This was the one difference. And all throughout the day, he kept coming back to me like, if I just had a Stardust Dragon, I could have stopped the wave. If I just had a Stardust Dragon,
Gotcha.
I could stop something. He's actually right here holding up the light. But
Hey.
Stardust Dragon overall was just so I could win the Wavering Eyes Wars, and it was one more card I could open with that would stop both an Ignister or Wavering Eyes until they go into main phase 2. So they'd have to run this over first, because that way I can't just get blown out by it, because you have to destroy a monster for Ignister, and you have to destroy cards for Wavering Eyes, so this would just stop you from getting blown out.
Definitely.
Now, 2 Norden, very common.
Tight.
Amazing, never made. Thought it would be great, but because of Drake and Pit, it makes that less relevant. That was pretty good. And now, I actually ran 2 of these. I've seen a lot of lists that don't run any of these. I loved this card. I made this card 13 or more times, and I made both of them several times. This is my best turn 1 play, is to go with this, because if you combine a Wisdomize into Oath Dragon plus this, you have Scales in hand. You end every turn with your Scales in hand, which allows you to search for a Draco Slayer, or to just get 2 Wisdomize, or Wisdomize plus Skull Crobat Joker. So even if they disrupt everything, you get hit with that Wavering Eyes, you get hit with the Ignister, and you get blown out, which is also why I really like the Stardust Dragon. As long as they do it in main phase 2 and don't kill you, this card combined with a single Wisdomize puts you right back in the game, and will actually put you ahead, because you'll actually get 4 cards between this and the Wisdomize. And so you can really quickly get back in. And then I played the second one in order to OTK, because I could make this to bring back Luster, to bring back an Ignister, and keep going. The other thing I really like about this is when you make this first turn, it puts a lot of pressure, because if they don't get over this, you can make an Ignister without Pendulum Summoning, which really threatens a lot if you have 1 to 2 back row between that and a Dragon Pit, so you can always just play right through it. And because you always want to protect your Pendulum Summon.
Gotcha. That's crazy.
And then These are the other two I played, and this is why I played 3 Oath Dragon and 3 Kieran. This never actually made it. It was supposed to be great against Cosmo. Turns out it's really easy to beat Cosmo anyway with this, because between Clutch Fire and Damage Juggler, it's a good matchup. And then this I made a lot.
What does that do?
Naruto, the Moral Leader, his effect is you make him with 2 level 6 spellcasters, which is, both Kieran and Oath Dragon. Then you can detach one material, negate the activation, and destroy the spell or trap card. What's important about this is because it negates the activation, I can negate Plush Fire with it, and it goes to Grave so it doesn't activate. This will also stop Wavering Eyes and everything else. 2 different matches against Pepe I won when I was forced to go first, which is the position you don't want to be in, by just summoning Kieran plus this. Because that's almost impossible for them to get over, because Kieran sits and bounces himself to protect him, and he prevents scales from completing. So he was awesome. I suggest everyone pick him up. There's also German ones online right now for only $9.
God, the hype.
Is his effect once per turn?
His effect is once per turn, so you do have to be careful with what you're going to negate. But
Definitely
a lot of people, the very
smart.
first guild they play, they'll deliberately try and draw out his negation, but
Another important note, sorry to speak up here, is Naruto is also, it's on either player's turn, so it can also stop opponents' Wavering Eyes, trying to do it on your turn, set scales with that, just more gravy on that delicious, I don't know what type of cake that is, but it's a good cake.
that's
Gotcha.
spellcaster cake.
It's a
gravy
spellcaster
cake.
cake. It's a gravy cake.
Gotcha. All right, let's go inside.
My side deck's a little weird. Basically, I went with the principle that this was the best deck, so I wanted to beat the best deck, and then everything else I just figured it out. So I actually side decked these going first for the mirror, and these going second for the mirror. So I'd add 2 different side deck setups for just the mirror match, and then they'd kind of mix and match for everything else. So the idea was that I'd play Max C's going second, so I wouldn't fall behind in the race, and then Flying C's, because that way I could prevent my opponent from making a bunch of Xyzs on their turn. And if they're not making Xyzs, then they're not getting anywhere. The only card that can stop this is their own Ignister. But if they're Ignistering to return this to deck, they're not getting rid of my cards, so they're falling behind anyway. And then these would allow you to OTK. Now, these doubled as great cards against BA and Pepe and everything else, but this was really meant to just play the mirror match.
Gotcha.
And then when you're going second, these are you want to bring in the counter traps, because you're already going to fall really far behind. And as much as you can,
So
you always
when
want to
you're
ask
going first.
Yeah, first. Sorry. When you're going first, you want to have a counter trap to prevent their pendulum summon, because that's always really important. And then when you combine this with the Magisters, usually they're more concerned with the Magisters that this doesn't get as much attention. And then this was just, of course, general good cards.
Yeah, broken.
You got to play the MSTs.
Definitely.
But
All right, so what were your matchups?
so I played against 2 Cosmos, 4 Pendulum decks, a BA, and an Infernoid. The Infernoid got first, actually. I ended up losing round 7 to someone who was XO2. He was playing Pepe. He got out Stardust plus Counter Trap against me, which is almost impossible to get over with any Pendulum deck. So that Stardust came in really handy for him. Not so happy for me. He's
Gotcha.
also my only opponent who didn't create a side out Wavering Eyes. I would highly suggest that for everyone. Always ask the side out Wavering Eyes. They may say no, but you don't lose anything by it. But you want to get rid of the high variance cards.
I got you. Okay. And any shout-outs that you want to give?
Yeah, I want to give one to Joe. Actually, let me stay at his house. We discussed this deck like the night before the event, trying to figure out what we're doing.
The week before, but seriously making it was like the night before.
And then my friend John Dorfman, he was great. He helps a lot. I said Dormant.
Oh, okay.
I meant to say Dormant. And then not really anyone else right now. Sadly, I play in Waco, where there's not much of a Yu-Gi-Oh scene.
Gotcha.
So I actually have to travel down to Austin to play with most of the players.
So Texas players, come to Waco, play with Aden.
Yeah, seriously.
True. All right, well, congratulations on the top. And yeah, we'll see you at the next regional.
Perfect. Thank you so much.